What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know y'all could probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you're definitely going to see this one as we're witnessing JD Vance back at it again, guys. I'm not sure when these journalists are going to realize that he is simply not to be messed with, guys. We got JD Vance coming out absolutely destroying and in this ABC reporter's career in this newest update, guys. I'm excited to get into it, so we're gonna hop straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we get into it, y'all, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it, y'all. Check this one out.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border? Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again.
I mean, come on, you guys. This is ABC. This is the news they try to push over there where they say it's Donald Trump's fault. It's Donald Trump. Guys, there's literally Venezuelan gangs taking over entire complexes, and she's saying there's only a handful. The mayor said it was only a handful of. There should have been no apartment. Think about this coming to your town, your apartment complex, and a gang comes and takes over, runs the people out. I mean, it just does not make sense. They didn't try to blame it on Donald Trump, a guy who's not even in office right now. I mean, come on, JD Vance. Absolutely doing it once again.
Are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
You know, it's just
call him out, JD. That's how you do it right there.
Just win after win after win. That clip, just released this morning, has already garnered millions upon millions of views across social media platforms.
Wow.
You know, going back to Telepromptergate, which we spoke about yesterday, I was talking about how this one frame, this one shot of a teleprompter in front of Kamala Harris essentially overshadowed her entire media blitz. She can't even get over 1 million views on any of her interviews. Meanwhile, look at this. JD Vance just shows up casually on ABC News and he breaks the freaking internet. It's just not the same thing, and the Trump campaign is totally outshining the Kamala Harris campaign. And it's honestly thanks to two things. Firstly, JD Vance is a great speaker. He's a great debater. Donald Trump, maybe not as good of a speaker, but he's got his own quirks and his own ability to get things done. He just does it in a very, rash kind of way. But anyways, the point is they're both good at what they do in their own ways. And the second element is, these talking heads in the media are just the worst. Holy frickin' moly. They just continuously prove us right over and over again, making utter fools of themselves and sending thousands of more people every time to the Trump camp every time they do it. And this interview with JD Vance, I think, perfectly encapsulates the shameless partisan bias that has overtaken mainstream media outlets. This interview is far more interested in nitpicking little nonsense details and feigning faux outrage about Donald Trump's statements and mean tweets than she is at addressing serious issues plaguing the nation. These people, these networks, serve only one purpose. They're essentially mouthpieces for the Democratic establishment. What you just saw there is not journalism. It's damage control for Kamala Harris. She claimed that it was only a couple of apartment complexes, as if that just simply trivializes the crisis. Is that really the standard now? How many apartment complexes need to be taken over before it's concern-worthy and gets some media attention? One apartment complex overrun by criminal gangs should be enough to sound the alarms across the country. Instead of addressing the unchecked flood of illegal immigration under Kamala's watch that's clearly led to a skyrocketing in crime, this interviewer rather chooses to downplay the severity of the problem, defending the administration so pathetically by clinging to weak technicalities, and of course, minimizing the suffering of real people. That's what these people do. I don't know about you guys, but my view is that Americans deserve better than this kind of gaslighting from the legacy media. ABC News should be holding power to account, regardless of the political party, not running interference for the Biden administration's failures. I mean, the corruption's on full display. We can all see it. But honestly, at this point, I mean, I know I'm ranting a little bit. I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm signaling my frustration. But honestly, at this point, I don't even want them to stop. Keep going on, MSNBC, with Donald Trump is literally Hitler.
Is that we have long known that Donald Trump has revered the Nazis. He has revered Hitler.
Oh,
He's read his book. He used to say he had it on his nightstand. Donald Trump has had a very sinister philosophy, wanting to be a dictator.
At what point does this turn into, and we able to call this dangerous rhetoric? I mean, like, how long are they going to be allowed to get on there and spew these talking points? It just does not make sense. Do they hear themselves? I mean, this is absolutely outlandish.
A very sinister philosophy, wanting to be a dictator, absolutely dividing people up based on who they are, based on factors about them that have to do with their race and their gender, etc. And when he uses language like this, I don't think that it's a Freudian slip. I think that the danger of a Donald Trump is that he would absolutely try to exterminate an entire group of people because he thinks that their genes are somehow different than his and faulty. And I say this with all the sternness.
There it is, guys. More fear mongering. They're trying to scare their viewership and to give them their vote away. I mean, this right here is pitiful. She ought to be ashamed of herself.
Here in my voice.
Keep going on with the hyperbolic nonsense. I mean, really calling Donald Trump Hitler in 2024? Keep going on diminishing the crime crisis. Keep doing it, because frankly, all you're doing really is giving people like JD Vance and other conservatives slam dunk alley-oop opportunities. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, if you're a competent person, which a lot of these conservative politicians are, this stuff is better than a softball interview. You know, the Democrats ought to take notes. This is how you freaking win elections. Most importantly, this is how you get loyal grassroots support. The people are fed up. They're done with the BS. And it's becoming clear, it's becoming obvious. Every single day, it's becoming clearer and clearer who's real and who's not. Who's got the nation's best interest at heart and who's playing politics? You know, really the question is, who's the real deal? I think it's pretty obvious it's Trump and JD Vance. And really the headlines are starting to reflect reality. Kamala Harris is getting help to clean up her style in interviews after failure to explain how she differs from Biden. She's trying to be the president of the United States and she needs to get coached on how to be successful in interviews. You know, that's just unacceptable. We're talking about who's going to be the leader of the free world, the most powerful office probably in human existence.
Yo, there we have it, guys. That one coming from our friend Liberal Hive Mind. I'll definitely be sure to leave that original video link down in the description box below. For those who want to go over there, check that out. Also, you guys to go over there, definitely go show our friend Liberal Hive Mind tons of love. Solid dude, man. Oh my goodness, guys, it's finally happening. What we're seeing right now, what we just witnessed, is absolute panic. The last efforts attempt from the left, you know, that's why they're going so extreme with it. We're seeing they're trying to fear monger and scare their viewership into giving away their vote, essentially, because they know it's all over. You know, they've tried to lie to folks. They tried to cover up, you know, push and paint this narrative for so long about their candidate, but all the walls are finally coming in, collapsing. I mean, come on, guys, this is basic level damage control. We seen Margaret from ABC going off saying it was only a couple of apartment complexes that were overtaken by these gangs. I mean, what does she even hear herself? How do you minimize that right there? Minimize these folks suffering. Honestly, couldn't even begin to imagine if, you know, God forbid, one of my family members' apartment complexes was overrun by one of these gangs, and then I seen them on TV trying to minimize it on the news and say, you know, the people that are in charge right now, the president and vice president, are not to blame. The person who opened the border wide open has done nothing about it is not to blame. It's actually Donald Trump and JD Vance for pointing out there's a problem. I mean, come on, guys, gotta wake up. Yo, definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy more content like this. Catch you guys on the next one.